Microphone check 1 2, testing 1 2 3. Let me know if you guys can hear me okay. All right. If you guys are out there watching, let me know if you can hear my microphone okay. And if you can hear me okay, we'll get started. I'm going to give everybody an opportunity to join. This is kind of an impromptu, and I kind of wanted to wrap it up. Thank you, Pitbull. All right. So we'll just hang out a little bit here, give everybody an opportunity, but we are going to be covering Abby and Libby's case again today. We're going to continue going over these. I don't know. I guess these are the top reasons that people are supporting Allen, and we're just debunking them piece by piece, item by item. And part 4, we're going to be diving into Ron Logan's confession, talking about Reese Davis. And then from there, we'll move on to alternate theories and multiple perpetrators, the Odinism theory. Richard Allen supporters only. This is only an invitation to those who support Richard Allen and have something serious that they would like to convey to my audience. So Richard Allen supporters only. You can use that link. Feel free to join. You can say whatever you want. If you're not comfortable joining me live, StreamYard, you can use that number there, 928-476-0112. Just want to give everybody an opportunity to speak their piece. Good to see you, Jinx, Pitbull, Tambi, and Jari. And apparently 18 other lurkers. Can always block your number, *67. Can always hit that link and put on there that you don't want to show yourself on camera. Even before you even join, you get to select all that. Because apparently the Delphi community is all worked up right now over my videos. She Warrior, good to see you. Cindy's new, what's up? Louise, good to see you. J Ray, not Ray J. Hey, that's my phone number. No, it's not, but it's actually super close, like what the F. It's a small world, I'm telling you, small world. Coincidences, right? They're real. Or is it? Good rescue. Tess H, what's up? I'm working, so I'm incognito. Have a great day. Tambi, Sleuth, I have a question, but I don't want to break any of the rules. It's a sincere question. Well, let's see. Rule number 1, avoid becoming a distraction to the conversation. Rule number 2, no personal attacks. Respect all participants. Rule number 3, no trigger trolling. Do not engage in or provoke disruptive behavior. Rule number 4, no mention of other channels. Keep discussion within the current chat and avoid referencing other channels. The only time you can break that last rule there is if it's relevant. You can break any of these rules here if it's somehow relevant to the discussion. You know, there's a time for everything. If you know what I'm saying. Cyber, good to see you. CJK, live again. I'm driving. Prayers, safe travel, CJK. Keep your eyes on the road. Right. So, I got to hit you with this. I don't like to hear it when people say, "Oh, I'm driving," and then I see them in the chat. This is for all of you.
Listen, give me all you got. I swear, me and my brother.
Eyes on the road. Eyes on the road. Well, you're kind of doxing yourself right there, Jerry. You might have a troll that's going, "Oh, trying to figure it out," right? One digit off, huh? I was doing yard work. That's why I missed part 3. Yeah, that's what I've been doing the last couple days is yard work. Picking up dog shit, mostly. Weeds, cutting the grass. Because I've been focused on the interior of the home. I neglected the backyard. The front's good. They're nice. Now you're good. Oh yeah, I hate that. Phone's like a I don't know, it's like a way for people to invade your privacy. It's their way of sneaking into your home. All right, so let's start with Ron Logan's confession. What do you guys think about Ron Logan's confession? If you have anything to add, you can hit that link. Join me live. But this invitation is to Ron Logan, Richard Allen supporters only. Right? This is an invitation to Richard Allen supporters only. Please explain to me how this man is innocent. Because we've been debunking everything with, it's just with ease, really. It's not even really an argument. Ron Logan's confession. In January of 2025, Allen's defense filed a motion citing a 2017 confession by Ron Logan, property owner where the bodies were found, to fellow inmate Reese Davis. Logan allegedly admitted to killing the girls after panicking. Who does that sound like? With phone data placing him near the crime scene. And some of the reasons this fuels doubt. Ron Logan was a person of interest early on, with a history of legal issues in proximity to the crime. His death in 2022 prevented further investigation. The defense argues Logan's confession was ignored or mishandled, similar to the misfiled 2017 tip against Allen, pointing to investigative flaws. So this was the defense team's attempt at discrediting the investigation and the prosecution, right? Trying to make them look bad to the jury. Like, hey, you can't trust these guys. Look at them. They're incompetent. Like Logan could. We're not saying Logan's the killer, but look, there's just as much, if not more, evidence that points at Logan as our client, right? And look at how these idiots handled it. But it didn't work, I don't think. I don't think that it worked. While prosecutors dismissed Logan's confessions as unreliable, some believe it raises reasonable doubt, especially given the lack of direct evidence against Allen. So remember, Reese, the reason that it grabbed our attention is he mentioned the box cutter. You also have some information that was put out about Ron Logan redecorating his bathroom, including the pipes. That's something Rex Heuermann did, right? His wife flew out of the country, committed his murder in-house, and just completely ripped out the pipes and redid the bathroom. Doesn't make him a killer. But you don't want to just dismiss those kinds of things, right? If you're looking for patterns, you have to admit that, there's a pattern. Rex Heuermann did that. Maybe Ron Logan did that. But you can't say, well, Reese Davis says that he confessed and then also redid his bathroom, right? Because first you have to stop there and consider, are you building your theory on solid ground, on rock, or are you building it on sand? So you can't just jump over the source and just say, oh, yeah, it's credible. No, you have to vet that source, right? Let's think about it. Who is Reese Davis? He's known for doing this. He's also somebody that was in contact with Kegan Kline. So if he's trying to paint Ron Logan as the killer and he has all this information that only the killer would know, he could have easily have gotten that from Kegan Kline, unfortunately, right? Ron Logan panicked, so he killed the girls. Who does that sound like? Sounds to me like Richard Allen. So if Kegan Kline was telling him what happened, he would have most likely told him, well, Richard Allen panicked and killed the girls. Or my dad's friend panicked and killed the girls with a box cutter. So when he kind of puts his story together, because he has his own motive. And I'm going to play you guys a quick little video so you can kind of understand what I'm talking about here. So let me pause this real quick. And right now I'm sharing the screen. Just takes me a second. I have to hit like 10 buttons. All right, let's take this down. Boom. So this was put out by the Innocence Project, right? So if they had somebody, let's say they had a jailhouse informant that said, hey, Richard Allen confessed to me that he told me, hey, he was fooling everybody, that he was malingering and feigning these symptoms to try to gain support. If you had a jailhouse snitch that came forward and said that, nobody's going to support him. These people only pick and choose things that help them out. That's just not the way it works. You can't follow in the footsteps of a defense team. That's their job. But in reality, you have to look at both sides. But this is why you can't trust Reese Davis about anything, especially because he's had contact with Kegan Kline, who technically is the only person that's ever officially confessed to the murders or being involved in the murders. Remember? Jailhouse informants are people in prison incentivized to testify against a defendant. Their false testimony has led to countless wrongful convictions. 17% of 121 death row exonerations involve jailhouse informants.
Informants, there's really no question, are the most dangerous witness in the system, right? They're incredibly motivated. They're often very compelling figures, and when you don't have information to assess their credibility, that's really where you're going to have outcomes that don't match what actually happened in the case.
false jailhouse informant testimony. So the thing is, most false imprisonments or false convictions, a lot of them happen because of jailhouse informants. Now, people that are supporting Richard Allen somehow now want to support that. So they want to support the jailhouse informant. I thought you were trying to get people out of prison, yet you want to support these types of confessions. You can't have it both ways. That's very hypocritical. Very hypocritical of you. And it's very bad karma. All right. I think I cited a few more here. Cameron Todd Willingham. Now this broke my heart. Listen to this shit right here. This is this should never happen. Cameron Todd Willingham, sorry. Willingham was executed in Texas in 2004 for the arson murders of his 3 daughters. Does that sound familiar? Based partly on the testimony of a jailhouse informant. Now imagine if for whatever reason they arrested Galen, right? She's like, what the fuck are you guys doing? Like, they're like, well, you know, we have reasonable doubt or whatever. And while she's in prison, somebody comes forward and says, yeah, she told me that she did it, right? They're going to convict her like they did Cameron Todd here. The informant, Johnny Webb, Willingham confessed to him that he had set the fire. Later, investigations raised serious doubts about Webb's credibility and the original arson science used in the case. Extensive evidence of junk science and Webb's unreliability led to widespread belief in Willingham's innocence, though he was executed before his conviction could be formally overturned. Here's another the case of Harold Hall. Hall was convicted of murder in California in 1990 and sentenced to life in prison. A jailhouse informant testified that Hall confessed to him. The informant was later revealed to have fabricated the conversation by altering notes that Hall passed to him, changing innocuous questions into a confession. Hall was exonerated in 2004 after the informant's deceit was uncovered. So why would you listen to Reese Davis, a jailhouse snitch that not only came in contact with Keegan Kline, which would have provided the intimate details, right? Somebody killing the girls in a fit of panic. It's exactly what Richard Allen said he did. I panicked and I killed them. That's what he claimed Ron Logan did. Doesn't that sound familiar? All he did was take Ron Logan and put him in the place of Richard Allen, the box cutter and the panic. That's it. He just swapped them out. Where would he have gotten that information? Keegan Kline, right? Perhaps. But if you put it in a courthouse or, you know, in a trial as testimony, jury's going to ask that. Well, couldn't he have got it from Keegan Kline? Absolutely. And probably most likely did, in my opinion. All right. I'm neglecting the chat. Sorry. Rescue Ron Logan. If you're here, we'd love you to call in and defend yourself. Yeah. That's not going to happen. Yeah, to be fair, sometimes you got to remodel the bathroom. It looked great, especially if he's dating. Like, that's the one thing you want to do if you're inviting girls over, right? At least you can do is have a nice bathroom. Jeez. Like, you invite me over to the shithole? Like, what the fuck? You only need one person to come to your place and ask to go to the restroom, right, to freshen up, and then they walk in. It's this nasty ass room, and then they never come back. Fucking sneak out the back or whatever. He's like, well, I gotta fix this. But that doesn't typically include the pipes, right? But I guess you might as well, if you're gonna do it, you might as well do it all. But it's just interesting that that's exactly what Rex Heuermann did. I mean, to the T. Called his wife and said, hey, great news. I remodeled the bathroom. Oh, that's so sweet. Yeah, I wanted to surprise you. right? Compartmentalized killer. Probably doesn't, he's not even thinking about the murder. He's able to separate the two. He's like, oh, my wife's here. I'm a different person now. But when she's gone, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. He's known for doing this. How many times has Oh, he's I guess he was known for doing it on other cases. That's what Kagan Klein said. Kagan Klein was interviewed about Reese Davis, and apparently he snitched to him too. And Kagan said that yeah, he's known for doing that in the jailhouse. Like this isn't the only case that he's injected himself into. Tamby, have you ever heard that Richard Allen told his mom shortly after the murder that he had smoked on the trail that day and left cigarette butts and thought law enforcement may try to pin it on him? Yes, I heard that from the Murder Sheets book that just came out on the 25th. Apparently, they got that from a very good, reliable source within law enforcement. That after Richard Allen's conviction, the mother mentioned that yes, he was acting strange after the murders. And that kind of explains why she didn't testify, right? Why didn't they call out Kagan Klein during the trial? Why didn't they call his mother to testify? Why didn't their own experts test Richard Allen's gun? Why didn't they do their own testing? They're not going to do anything that's going to hurt their client or their case. All right, you guys have anything to add on Ron Logan? Here, let me grab these screenshots. I'm pretty sure I got these from R&M when they did that story. Here, let me put this up there. So, I mean, I found it interesting, and I don't think it should just be brushed aside, right? If we see a pattern, we call it out, like I did with Rex Heuermann. Like, hey, this is something very similar. This is something that killers do. And don't get excited, Richard Allen. I didn't mean do. I'm saying that killers do these things. So I don't know if the room is part of the renovation with the painting and everything, and typically it's clean. Maybe even the floor might be remodeled. So I don't know. I think maybe the room might just be dirty. So it might be a room and a bathroom, right? Something a single man would start with, in my opinion. How many times he's tried to come to the cops with someone else's confessions? Let's see. Sorry to boot you out of there, Miss Dog Lover, but we're only taking calls, and I apologize, but I don't have a whole lot of time. Only taking calls from Richard Allen supporters who feel the need to kind of point out some very specific things. What are we missing? What is it that drives you to support this guy who is obviously, in my eyes, guilty of killing 2 teenage girls? What is so powerful that has driven you to this? Help me to understand, because I see it completely different. Yeah, so it looks like he completely tore out the wall. Yeah, it looks good too. Tile looks good. What do they call this? What the hell is it called? I almost wanted to say vignette, but it's not a vignette. I don't know. You guys will help me out. So I can't tell. Was this room redone too? I mean, the wallpaper looks okay. Looks like he's patching the walls there. Can't really tell. But yeah, you guys have anything else on Ron Logan? What about his appearance? Right? They say that he looks just like the bridge guy. And what's
Down the
funny,
hill.
what's funny is you can't get them to be consistent. It's either Patrick Westfall, right? Or it's Ron Logan. Why can't it just be not Richard Allen? Because it can't be Ron Logan and Patrick Westfall and his group of what they titled goodness. See, J Ray. It's not the jailhouse snitch that I support. I'm in support of a thorough investigation into alleged confessions. Especially given the timing, I really just want a righteous prosecution. Well, the thing is you're calling something unrighteous. You have to explain why. Why is it what was unrighteous about it, right? It's almost as if you're telling the investigative team, like, why weren't you listening to Reese Davis or taking him seriously? Well, because why, first of all, why would you take a jailhouse snitch seriously? Same reason that you had Kagan Klein, who is the only person to officially confess to his involvement in the Delphi murders. That wasn't even admissible. Wasn't even enough to make an arrest. J Race, I don't think. Hold on, sorry. Let me put that up there. I don't think Ron Logan is bridge guy.
Down the hill.
Down the hill. Down the hill.
Down the hill.
Down the hill. Down the hill.
Down the hill.
Down the hill.
Down the hill.
Down the hill.
Down the hill.
Down the hill.
Down the hill.
Down the hill.
Down the hill.
Down the hill.
Down the hill.
Down the hill.
Down the hill.
Down the hill. Down the hill.
They don't seem to walk the same, let alone, the same height. Miss Dog Lover, we're only taking calls from people who support Richard Allen. That's it. So definitely similar, right? I could definitely see how people could look at Ron Logan and be like, yeah, that's the bridge guy.
Later, when
Especially this. Look at this one right here. He literally has like something hanging down. Like right in this area. That looks just like the bridge guy. So I get it. But that's just people with their own pareidolia, right? Assuming that the bridge guy has some type of fanny pack or whatever this seems to be hanging from below Ron Logan's coat. Like, what the hell? Over here looking like the bridge guy. with the gloves in the pocket and all that. Yeah, so I get it. I get it. Yeah, but unfortunately, She Warrior just answered the riddle right there. No, Miss Dog Lover. I didn't allow you to come into the backstage. No offense or anything. But I only have another 30 minutes. And I only want to take calls from people who support Richard Allen. Otherwise, we're going to get through this and we're going to bounce. And that'll probably be it for this series. We gave them the opportunity. That's all this is about. So if they want to join the live, hit the link. Or if they disagree with me and want to show me where I got it wrong, call the number. Witness BG left me not. This car is a little weird. Welcome in, Veronica. I'm not calling anything unrighteous. I just don't like that the alleged confession by Ron Logan seems to have been ignored. Yeah, but wouldn't you ignore it too? Of course I would ignore it, considering there were some details in it that seemed like they could be true. I mean, they're ignoring it probably for the same reasons I'm ignoring it now. And the same reason I understand why they eventually just ignored Kagan Klein. Like, I get why they did it. You know, he could be involved. Anthony Schatz could be involved. But if you have nothing to show for it, really, what do you have? Veronica, I want answers. Let's ask some questions. I think the answers are right there, guys. They've been there. Some people are just refusing to accept the answers. And that's becoming very clear. Did you order the code red? You're damn right I did. You can't handle the truth. Yeah, you can, Veronica. If you have something to add, we have about 28 minutes remaining. The number should be pinned in the chat. Also, there's a link. You can call, and I'll put you on speaker over the microphone, and we can have a discussion that way, or you can hit the link, and it'll bring you up into studio, and people will hear your voice the way that they're hearing mine now. Otherwise, we're moving on to alternate theories and multiple perpetrators. But you can feel free to call in at any point. All right, Odinism theory. All right, we got somebody calling in. V, I think we hear you loud and clear. Go ahead and hit the mic. Hello, hello, hello.
I've hit the mic.
Yeah, there you are. How you doing? Welcome in.
Oh,
V.
hi. It's so good to talk to you.
Yeah, welcome on. So you're a
Thank
Richard Allen
you.
supporter, is that correct? Or not a supporter, but
Well,
you believe that he may not be guilty.
I believe that I think I'm more like you. I think there's way more to the story. And there's normally, I'm going to tell you that I am a heavy pro guilter person and harsh punishment. I am for harsh punishment all the way.
Like death
So,
penalty stuff.
yeah, I'm totally okay with that. Like, if there's solid evidence, not like, um, if there's still a lot of remaining questions to the case, then no. But if it's someone like Gypsy Rose Blanchard, then absolutely.
Oh,
Like,
that
go
was a
for it.
twisted case.
Yeah, I've been studying that one and I read her medical documents, no Munchausen by proxy. I read everything from before the murder of Dee Dee Blanchard, her mother, and no abuse. The
Well,
only one in that house,
psychopaths are good
yeah,
at eliciting sympathy.
yes. And did you know that she used her fetishes as abuse stories? She replaced her mom's story. And what she did was she used her fetishes, either the ones that she's done or she like fantasizes to eventually do. She took the men out of it and replaced it with her mom, like being chained up to the bed.
Gotcha.
That's yeah, it's a lot of stuff like that.
Well, what about Richard Allen? Let's get back on
Okay, so
topic
let's
there.
go back on to that one. So that's where I want you to know that I'm pretty. So for me to be questioned about Richard Allen, that's serious. And I did attend the second day trial after lunch for a
Oh,
few
you were in
hours,
the
and then
courtroom. You got a good look
yep,
at him.
yep, I flew in, and then unfortunately I had to fly out for 2 days, and then when I
Interesting.
went, yeah, it was great. But I have to tell you, Sleuth, I just I wasn't impressed with. I think let me backtrack. I'll be quick. I'm from where you are, okay?
Okay.
And so I know Indiana, for like the month of May, there's certain events that take place in Indiana. So that's how I became familiar with the area. My dad did some things up in Monticello, Lake Schaefer. And so that's how I knew the area. And I go like 3 or 4 times a year just to go see some people. My favorite tacos are there. It's just a really good, fun place to be. That was before this case happened. So I was on a casual phone call and they're like, "Oh, there's 2 girls missing on the bridge." And I was like, "Oh my gosh, I hope they didn't fall."
Hmm.
That's
I think
how
that was a
that's
lot of people's response.
Yeah, that's how, and how crazy is it that I'm halfway across the country, and my friend mentions this to me, and we're on a
But you,
3 hour
it
time
sounds like you
difference.
have a connection to Indiana, so it kind of,
Yes.
might have struck a different type of chord.
Yeah, well, because, Indiana Beach is there. It was like a tradition for me to go on my birthday. When I would fly in every May, that's where I would go. Like I would visit in April, like go drive up to Monticello for the day in April. If I
That's
had a
not far
free
from
day in
Delphi at
May,
all. That's not far from Delphi at all.
it's like 40, 50 minutes, well, with my driving, you know.
Yeah.
And so, but yeah, so I was on the phone with friends and I was like, my gosh. And then I don't know how it happened, but it was just like as things were happening, the rumors, Sleuth, I'm telling you, hand on Bible, the rumors started that
Hmm.
night of things that had occurred. And then the next day when they were found, that was hard. I had a lot of questions like, wait a second, we had people searching the creek, they were in the creek, all around, four-wheelers, ATVs, the canoes, like what is happening? And I was already upset about the search being called off. Like, it's not that dangerous to call off a search. Like, come on.
Hmm. That
Um,
is upsetting.
yeah, right. And the dogs. And even if the girls were to be found, why would you still stop the dogs? Because you don't know you,
But when
you
they
don't know.
shut when they told everybody, hey, the search is off, I don't think that they were talking to law enforcement. They were talking about all of the liabilities that were running around in the middle of the dark, going up and down those hills,
And
that the
the
search is over.
locals,
Yeah, not
yeah, the
them. I don't
locals,
think for them, I think it was still 100% on.
yeah, possibly that's something that we just don't know. But well, I don't know because the Patties and everyone had said that they resumed in the morning, but not,
Well,
with
Becky said,
the,
well, in an interview, she said, well, they really didn't stop.
oh, okay, good. Okay, so that's something that I didn't pick up sooner. So thank you.
Yeah.
But that was heartbreaking because if that was me. I wouldn't want someone to stop looking. And if it was, one of our kids, like any kid, it doesn't matter what age,
Yeah.
like
Well, I don't
you,
think we should rely on anybody. Like, if you want something done, honestly, you got to get out there and do it yourself. So if you want a search
we're in
party,
that,
or organize one and get one done.
we're in that type of society. So I agree
Hmm.
with you. But I think my problem is, Sleuth, is that I'm someone that just listened to every time I came into town what people were telling me. I had no idea that this case was discussed on Reddit. I really didn't know what Reddit was. I thought it was for gamers. So I was never on
I'm not big
Reddit.
on Reddit. Me neither. I'm still not.
Yeah, and another thing is on YouTube, like if I was away for my like instructor, like sometimes, I would hop on YouTube to find like an exercise or
Hmm.
something like that. Not, I had no idea that it was discussed. Like a few channels discussed Delphi. It wasn't until the arrest. So
It
that's
hit
where
me
I'm
first on
fortunate.
Facebook about, I think,
Oh,
around the time they put the photos out.
really?
Yeah, that's when I started following it. I started seeing it on Facebook.
Oh, see. Now
And it
I
was that
saw the
photo of the
photos.
girls. Yeah, the photos of the girls. I just remember thinking, I couldn't help but think about my own girls. So it hit me
Right,
like
okay.
that. And that's how I got hooked. I was like, man, like that reminds me of my daughter, and like
Are
could be her
are they
friend or
not
something.
gorgeous? Yeah.
Yeah.
And Libby,
I mean,
my
it just
goodness,
it
her
it, it hit a
body,
chord. It hit a chord for sure.
athletic. I just wonder like what athlete she was going. I mean, her body was just incredible. Not to be,
She
you
was
know what I
all
mean?
around, baseball, volleyball, I think even soccer.
Oh, she was so, yeah, fascinating.
Yeah, she was on
Incredible.
her, it
And
was, I think, like her third season of softball at Riley Park, which is another place that Richard Allen spent a lot of time. So who knows what's going on there,
well,
with that connection.
see, my problem on that situation is it's a small area. It really truly is. And because it's so small, the small communities, they like intertwine. They mingle. They all kind of know each other, or the third degree of whoever, whatever that's called.
7
Um,
Degrees of Bacon, I think.
seven degree. Yep, there you go. And so I really wish that you would go and visit so that way you would get the real feel of it.
Oh, I will.
Um,
I'm definitely going.
you please it, and you're gonna love it. And I highly recommend going to Indiana Beach. It's just a childhood, fan favorite. My favorite place to go to is Hermosa, Marina del Rey, San Diego, but Indiana Beach. There's just something magical about it. I can't explain it, but to get back to that, I didn't hear the rumors. I didn't know about what was being said on Facebook, what was being said on Reddit, YouTube. So like Shelby Hicks, like I've met her.
Yeah, she
I've
lives in
met
Monticello, so that's why I said, like, it's
yeah,
close, it's connected.
well, actually, do you want to know the crazy thing is one night I flew into Indiana to go to a Christmas party.
Hmm.
And I'm sitting at a bar, and Shelby Hicks is there, and she just starts talking to me. We somehow become like BFFs, and then it comes out she's from Monticello, and I'm like, oh my God, no way. And then so I was telling her about my life, and then I was like, that's why we're here, da 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 da. And she was like, oh, I was on the bridge, and I was like, shut up. Like so we
Well,
just
it was
start
probably
talking.
refreshing for Shelby to realize that you're into the case, but not one of these online trolls, so to speak. One of these online sleuths. It was probably refreshing for her.
Right.
That way, she can talk
Yes.
with you without any preconceived notions.
And she was honestly just a joy. Oh my gosh. She's so stunning in person. Stunning, beautiful. So beautiful and funny. And so we were talking, but that's how I received a lot of my information. Like the night that the girls were found, not to cause an uproar, but the leaks I struggle with. I saw pictures the night that the girls were found. It was by video. It wasn't by, because I wasn't in Indiana.
And when you say
Um,
pictures, what do you mean?
I saw the crime scene. I
Okay.
was telling people about it.
There were some photos that were released. If you were that close to it, you probably got photos from a person named J. Kyle Keener. Now he was working for a local newspaper there, and he was on scene. Uh, they were discovered
Did,
there across the creek,
did,
and I believe he was
did
fired for releasing those photographs.
no way.
Yeah, that could be. It
Okay.
could. I'm just saying that could be what you're talking about.
Okay, because someone was at a restaurant. My friend was there, and so he was the one that showed me. And I watch Hallmark. I'm not into that gory stuff. And I will tell
Hmm.
you, it was not done in ill intention. It was not done. They really, the way that it was sounding, arrest was going to be made soon. Soon.
Oh, so
Like
what? Your
it,
friend was he in law enforcement?
no.
How did he
Just
get the
just some
photos?
locals is some locals had them. And they were even asking me because I was in at one point, I don't care. I was in behavioral health
Okay,
and vision therapy. And so I just talked to myself. There you guys go, losers. Not you guys that it goes only it's directed at certain people. Anyway, so
sure.
the meanies. Um so they were just asking me like is this weird? It was just certain things and I didn't know of anything about
Well, I think it's
pagans.
interesting that they. I think it's interesting though that they had crime scene photos. Did they talk to you about how they acquired them? Were there people just out there when they were discovered and they were just snapping photos, or like did they
That
give
was
you any background on that?
honestly, Sleuth, that was my impression. People were standing around and just
Okay.
in they were like in shock. But of course it was said differently in trial because originally I thought a female found them. But Pat Brown, it's a unisex name, right?
Hmm.
Female, male by the name of
Yeah, there's
Pat. So
actually
I thought
yeah, exactly. There's a profiler named Pat Brown. She's
so I
excellent, by the way.
thought, gosh, yeah. So I thought, oh, did I so there's certain things like that that has happened where I'm going, okay, but I just what I know, what was said about Richard and what the filings, it just doesn't add up to the beginning. It doesn't, and time has passed, and I try to be very careful because I never want to disrespect anybody. And even like with the families, if Richard Allen is guilty, I need more.
No, it's
I
important what you're
need
saying. Let's try to capture that.
what
If you are able to go back to that early vibe and that, like, what part of that earliness and people kind of sharing these photos, do you think potentially other people are involved and that's how they got the photos? Because Garrett
I
Kurtz was talking about he saw a video of the murders, or that his girlfriend told him
yeah.
that she saw a video of the murders.
Right. And there was tripod marks, but then yet in court that was never mentioned. Why?
Well,
Another
I can,
thing,
well, I think I know who left those tripod marks and may have been spreading those videos. Let me try to
who?
pull something up. These reporters. His name is John Terhune, and I'll put it up on the
Why
screen
does
for you.
why does his name sound familiar?
He works locally in Indiana. He's a photographer. Let's see. Let me hide this. So you remember these guys in the RTV6 chopper footage leaving the scene?
Oh yes, that's them.
Yeah, these are the guys that most likely took the crime scene photos before anybody got there, even J. Kyle Keener. So I think they were part. They discovered the bodies before anybody.
And didn't say anything.
Yeah, this guy. It's just my opinion. I don't know for sure, but
Oh, that is so possible.
so here they are running into Brian and Jesse, and you can kind of see where they're parked, way on the other side
Yep.
of the Freedom Bridge. So, and they're leaving. They're leaving at about like 12ish, and the bodies were discovered right at that same time. See right here,
Okay.
bodies are discovered. Let's see, right now heading
Heading.
towards the scene, and it was 12:40 when he posted that on the 14th. So the bodies were discovered at
Okay.
12:15 by law enforcement, but they didn't catch wind of it until 12:40.
See, and I thought because my friends called me, and like I said, with the time difference, it was morning, and they said, "Hey, we think that they found him," and I was like, "Oh, good." And they go, No," and I was
What'd
like,
you think when you saw
"Oh,
the photographs? Like, what'd you think when you saw those? Were you like, "Holy shit"?
well." Like I said, I watch Hallmark. I don't know anything about scary movies. I know nothing about Pagan, but I was like, what is that?
Was it a
Like
guy
it
or a girl
wasn't
that showed you photos?
it was a small group of people. Like I knew two people, the rest were people I don't know. And I don't know whose phone it was that I was looking at through, through the video.
Guys
Like
and
they
girls?
were, yes, it was and older people. It wasn't young kids or it
Okay.
was just some
It wasn't
locals
like
in
Shelby or
shock.
anything like that.
No, 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 no. I met
Okay.
Shelby after. This
Okay.
was the night that they were found. This was that night.
Oh, okay.
And
So
and
people
I
must
said
have been snapping photos and stuff then, huh?
I guess so. I mean, it's in the scene. Like I was telling people, I there was no evidence markers. I remember seeing two ropes. There's, a green rag. And what's bizarre is that there was also like a
Hmm.
green handkerchief found in the crate. There's just
Green
certain
rag.
things that hmm
Oh,
or a
that's interesting.
handkerchief or green towel. Like the crime scene to me looks different now. I only saw one photo of the leak, but I think it's cowardly. What
Do
was
you
the
think it could
point
be
of?
your memory after all this time, just kind of different? Or
N-
are you like, no,
No,
like you know
because
what you
I
saw?
don't like. Yeah, I don't like that kind of stuff. It
Okay.
wasn't done out of gore or it was done out of concern. Like this
Well, they
wasn't
call it
your.
morbid curiosity.
Yeah, no, I do not have that. No, 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 no. This was a concern. This is one of my favorite places that I thought, oh my gosh, I'm gonna go get a lake house here because I have one somewhere else, and I just thought it would be great, once if Monticello, Indiana Beach were to allow you to bring your boat up to go dock like they used to do. Like I think I want to get eventually a summer home here because my friends had some there,
So this
and
ruined that for you a bit.
it did because then that's when I learned about the meth, different types of events that have occurred, and I was like, just no idea. I
Not to
thought
throw
it
you
was
off or anything, are we able to focus in on some of the items that stuck out in the photographs that weren't presented during trial?
well, like the rag hanging, like the rag, and I
It
thought
was
there was
hanging?
one
What do you
more.
mean hanging? By
It was
hanging?
like off the branch,
Oh, like
and
somebody
like
hung it on a
branches.
branch?
Yeah, yep. And then I
Whoa.
remember branches coming down from the main tree. Like, there's some pictures that I don't know if we're allowed to say names, but Holder, he had taken some pictures, and some of it looks similar to where, like, the branches are in,
Yeah,
like,
his ruins on
they're,
the ground made of trees. I have that.
but it's also like even in the trees, like how they
Here,
place certain branches and they made like a
I can pull that
tunnel
up for you.
walkway.
Here, let's pull that
Okay.
up. Let's
Because
see.
there was some of that. And honestly, now, Sleepy, I wish I did study it. Now
Yeah,
I wish I did
you should have
study it.
tried to get your hands on it. But what's interesting too is it sounds almost like this is before the crime scene was staged. It's almost as if the people who were showing you these photos, they may have participated.
Well, and that's what even my friends like scary because we thought it was, like I said, from the searchers or not necessarily from law enforcement, but to our understanding, it was a big group of people that were separated but together when they found them. So that's why um I mean that's just how we thought. That's how we thought they were found. So while people were waiting for law enforcement to show up, um maybe that's how some pictures were taken. The pictures that I saw, it wasn't like they focused in and did all of that. It was just like a quick shot, like
Like
just
somebody tried to just sneak it.
no, not necessarily sneak it, but they were just so in shock. Like, what are we looking at here? Because like it wasn't like too like it wasn't
Oh, like
just
the
it.
need to document it.
Well, no, they were just or like sometimes like a car wreck, you slow down, you look, or sometimes you might take. I've never taken a picture, but you see someone, they do it for whatever reason, they just do it, and then it's
I
like
don't know one person that does not slow down when there's a car accident.
yeah, it's like that. Like it wasn't. That's what I'm saying. Like people were actually concerned. The ones that I know some people in Delphi have different stories, but the ones that I know from Delphi and Monticello, like they were concerned because they said this isn't like a situation gone wrong, and they're just like murdered. Like this is it just looked meticulous. Like it just looked it didn't look beginner. I
I mean,
and I didn't know pagan stuff or rituals, or you know what I mean?
were
So
there sticks there, like laying on top of the girls?
right, the branches. Oh,
Okay,
these
you
were
actually.
branches. These were bigger than Richard Allen. These were not by far sticks. These were
Yeah, there was
these
one that was placed on Libby that was almost twice her size. So if
yeah,
he
I'm
dragged that
telling
over,
you.
it would have been really big. That one.
But where's the drag marks? Like where's the marks? There's no shuffling. There's no, you know what I mean? And there's just certain questions like that I have. It's just I know people
I
were
mean, that's
on the
very
bridge,
interesting. I mean, I can't get past that whole rag hanging there. I mean, that's blowing my mind.
but okay, so I just made a tweet on X. It's my same profile picture, my same name. And so from the very beginning, and I'm ignored a lot, and I'm okay with that. I don't,
That's why I give
I'm
people
not,
the opportunity to call in. We can't ignore you now, right?
well, I'm not a pick me person. So, but my first argument, it's always been like a timeline. How are these creators coming up with timelines? The people that I know, the amount of people that I know that were at the trails, never were, some of them never spoke to police.
That's
Some of
crazy.
them were never, like
Well, that's
questioned more
interesting
than
that
once.
you have a group of people passing around crime scene photos and not being interviewed by law enforcement. That blows my mind.
Well, no, I'm just talking about the kids or the people that were there, young adults that were there. But these well, I think one of the guys in the group that were okay, so that's two different incidences.
Did you know a guy by the name of Julian?
What's his last name? Begins with a P.
Yeah, Julian Powell.
Powell.
Yeah, he worked at Peru, or excuse me, Subaru. And some of the people
Okay,
that were there that day worked at Subaru.
there was yes, and then there was a group of kids from Lafayette that were at the trails. Um, I mean, there were two groups from Lafayette, college kids that were there. They were never, or they try to go to Ellie to say like, hey, this was all of us there. Ellie never interviewed them. Even with Shelby Hicks, they didn't seem interested at all with what she had to say.
It's bizarre.
Um, and what else was it? So I was in Monticello and I was meeting with a friend, and I remember there was this young girl, and Sleuthie, like this is my intentions. Like this, I wish before I could remember her name, but now I can't. But she was out there with some girls, and I think this is another group, but they left the trails at like 12:15, 12:30, and they were going somewhere else. Now there's another group of girls, three, I believe, that they were leaving too to go to the park. So you have two sets of girls, and
So these mystery groups of girls, right?
they were never. I know the one mom, she tried talking like, we were here at this time, yada yada yada, and
Shelly
they were
says,
not supposed to.
who's Sleuthy?
Oh, I call you. I'm sorry. I call you Sleuth. Sometimes I call you Sleuthy instead of just Sleuth. Sorry.
Yeah, that's what I thought
It's
you were
my
doing.
fault.
Doesn't bother me.
Sorry. Okay, I can't help it. I come up with nicknames for
But we
everybody.
are running out of
But
time. How do you want to end? V? Do you
well,
want to
I
do a
just
part
think,
two as well?
I mean,
I'd
if
like to
you
hear from you
want
again.
to, it's I don't know if I can really add anything. I just don't think that the things, it just doesn't line up. And if Richard Allen is, if he is, I lean towards no. But if
Well, I mean,
he
it's
is,
very interesting to get this kind of window, this sneak peek into the vibe of early on and the connection to Shelby and all of that inside information.
yeah, and I'm not
It's
a
very
sleuth.
interesting.
I didn't go seek them out. That's weird to me. That is so
Yeah,
weird. This is
yeah,
just
it's very weird.
so I just want you to know it's like I'm being sincere. I'm not one of these hyper emotional people that will go and do weird things.
Well, let's put it
That's
this way:
not
if you
me.
can find these three girls that were there around
Well,
12:30, that can
Swifty,
say, "Hey, we ran into Richard Allen," you could probably get him freed. But that's just not like, right?
no, I don't remember their names. That's just it. I wasn't being a sleuth to be like, like
Yeah, that would be huge.
I, but we thought an arrest was going to be made. So what was there at that point? I didn't start taking a little bit of a note, like trying to remember everything until like, I want to say 2018. My puppy, he communicates on buttons. Just ignore him.
Yeah. So our
Um,
dog Indy does too. He has this little thing he clicks.
he has a doorbell and then he has buttons like mom, play,
That's
mom, feed me,
cute.
What is your dog's name?
Indy.
Oh my gosh, it's so cute.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I just need more. Right now I do think I point more towards innocent than I do guilty.
I
I'm
mean,
not,
you have a legitimate reason, like the fact that you were there early on, things don't add up to you. Yeah, I would be suspicious too. Um,
and then
I'm
the
very
church,
interested
they
if
communicated.
you can think of
What,
anything more, I would love to hear more about all of that.
okay, like yeah, I don't like the arguing, like so I'm always quiet in your chat, like I
Mhm.
never want to say anything that's gonna trigger something, but
Yeah, you
I
called him with
just
valid information. Like that's a great reason to think that he's innocent from your own. I mean, it is anecdotal. It's from your own personal experience, but it's still huge because you're giving us insight to what you saw and the fact that people were passing around, photographs or they had photographs. That's huge.
and
That
no
don't
more. I
match.
mean,
Yeah.
yeah. And it's just and I'm just like I'm being honest and my hand could be on the Bible. I just, even like with the church being contacted that evening, but yet it was not mentioned in trial. Like why, like what did the church help you with? It was,
Oh, you're
like
talking about Anna?
no, it was said that Ellie had reached out to a church, not where they did their conference. It was like another church that's known to, I don't know if it's a pagan church out there or I don't know what denomination, religion, if they believe in God or not. I don't know. But they went to them.
Oh,
Ellie went to that
okay.
church to get information about like the symbols of the branch placements.
Okay. On ruins and stuff.
So yeah, who knew what runes were? Like even like I thought there were two trees that had markings on them, but in trial they only showed the one. So it's maybe like I said, and they don't have the photos. It wasn't like the next time I saw them, those photos were about, it wasn't like that. It was not kept. It wasn't like a, I'm cool, look at me. There was no ill intention. There was nothing malice. There was nothing to be disrespectful. And who knew what this case was going to end up like? You
Mm-hmm.
know, at that time, it wasn't everywhere. So it's, it wasn't nothing malice, nothing, and like I said, the rumor started right then and there about the girls and certain things, and, makes me uncomfortable to discuss because just certain things should be off topic or off limits, but
Mm-hmm.
then
I agree.
certain things actually do happen. Like, look at, the cases that we have with baby Emmanuel and all these
Yeah,
other cases. So,
it's hard to balance transparency and people's maturity.
right. And I don't ever want to say something wrong, or I don't ever want to say anything offensive, especially if it is wrong.
That's
But if it's,
politics. That you're being a politician.
well, I don't want to
That's
hurt, like,
people
I'm not
pleaser.
going to, well, wait a minute, but we're talking about two little girls. That's different. Like,
Yeah, that's what I'm
uh,
saying. Like, people don't need to like try to rescue the family. Like, they're here. If they're listening, they're just as curious, right? Richard Allen is bridge guy. Prove them wrong too, right? They're probably thinking, yeah, prove me wrong. If you want to support this man, give me a good reason. Like, prove us wrong.
I
So
just think
they're
there's more to the story. If Richard Allen is involved, I'm okay with that, but I need evidence how. I want to see that bullet because, to my understanding, that the unspent round was found a couple days later. They had to reclose the scene because of a metal detector. But then somehow now it was found the evening of the girls. Like,
yeah, we're gonna have to continue this another time. That is
okay.
a good point, but remember, none of that was argued by his defense team
And
at all, right?
it wasn't. No, and
So I just
it,
want to point
it
that out.
wasn't. I know. I know. So, but yeah, I'll say hi the next time you do a live, and if you want to chat, we can chat. If
Yeah,
not, I
if you think you have anything to add, let me know. I'll pull you back up.
okay,
All right,
absolutely.
thank you, V.
All right, bye, Sue. All
Bye.
right, bye.
All right, guys, that is it. I wish we could have gone on a little bit longer. Hopefully, we can get V back on to tell us a little bit more about her experience there in Delphi. A little bit more about apparently seeing crime scene photos. I mean, that's definitely intriguing. That paints a different picture than what we're used to, right? And the shock from the leak from the defense team. And all along, you have a whole group of people that were snapping photos of these two dead girls. What's really going on in Delphi, right? What's really going on? Brandon, good to see you. And if you guys need to reach me at all, if you have anything to add, thanks again, V, for having the courage to call in front of everybody and state your piece. I really respect you for that. Everybody else is just a bunch of cowards. They should keep their mouth shut from now on because they had their opportunity to speak. Everybody else, Sleuth Crew, I'll catch you guys on the flip side. Peace.
I rest my case.